What's up, good people? Hopefully, you are doing well. Here we go. You already know who this is. Shake your head. Bob it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Get on in here. You want to come on in because we ain't gonna be here long on tonight. You understand what I'm saying? As they would say back in the day, I would behoove you to get yourself on into the room real quick so we can have this quick conversation. Because God is up to something. You understand what I'm saying? You pick it up. There, please feel free. Go on and give us a thumbs up. Go on and give us how you're doing on tonight. And you know what we do. The question on the floor while you're getting prepared to slide on into the conversation is, how are you doing? How are you doing? We're gonna go on and slide this down because I ain't trying to get in trouble with Facebook or YouTube or anything like that.
None of them.
You know what I'm saying? Because we just don't have to do that. We just don't have to fight that battle if we don't have to.
Sure
So you know what it is. Come on into the room. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know that you are there. We certainly want to be able to shout you out, give you a personal hello, a personal what's up. But before we do all of that, let's go back a little bit. The question on the floor is, wait for it.
Y'all know
how are you doing? Huh? How in the world are you doing?
How y'all doing tonight?
Okay. How are you doing?
That's
the question.
I'm doing great. I'm gonna say that it was a very full weekend.
That it was.
And your peeps are tired tonight.
Ooh,
but yeah, we did get to have some sleep, but
man, it wasn't nearly enough.
It wasn't enough. But it was great, and we'll get into that a little bit later. As far as the Saturday, the Power Shop, y'all, if you wasn't there, you missed it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Listen.
But anyway, I'm doing great, to say the least. How are you doing, sir? How you doing?
If you don't know, now you know. You know what I'm saying? I am great. Listen, today came and today went. You understand what I'm saying? Work was work. Had a great day at work. Had a great day. Y'all know what I say. I don't have bad days.
Correct.
Because guess why? Huh? Why?
Why, sir?
You ask me why, I'm gonna tell you. I promise I'm gonna tell you. Because I don't allow bad moments to become a lifestyle. Bad moments just stay moments. They don't turn into monuments or ways of living. They just they're just moments. I get into it and get out of it. I don't take it personal. Don't make it something that it doesn't have to be. You understand what I'm saying?
Amen.
So yes, I am doing great. You know what? It seemed like y'all trying to be a little bit stubborn on tonight, so we're just gonna go on and make this thing happen.
Yeah, let's jump in because we literally tonight is the 30-minute hit. Oh yes, it is.
And it's already 9:04.
So 26 minutes.
We don't gave y'all enough time to get into the house and to be ready to have this conversation.
Amen.
So with nothing else to be said, it's Monday.
Yeah, come on, do it.
Do
it.
It's after 9:00, and you see these two marvelous faces sitting in front of you, that can only mean one thing.
What does it mean, sir?
What does it mean? It means that it's Marriage Village Mondays. Yeah. Woo! Boy, you
nope.
Woo! You wish you can do it. I know, but I am sort of like one of a kind. Hello, Darlene. Good to see you on tonight. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, yes.
But tonight, you see these two faces in front of you, and we are getting ready to have this conversation. So this weekend, we did a thing. And if you were not in the house, you should be ashamed of yourself. Yeah.
Do not impose. Yeah. Do not impose shame on the people.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to pay. I'm going to, what you say, impose what?
Impose shame on
I'm going to impose shame on the people. If you were not in the house.
It's okay.
Okay, so let me say it this way then. All right? Since you want me to just go on and let the saints have it, I'm gonna let the saints have it.
I don't want you to let the saints have it.
Thank you for giving me the pathway to say what I really want to say. Okay? So, every now and again, there comes a time in a young man's and a young woman's life where they just have to do what they have to do, right? And sometimes we just don't do what we need to do. And then we suffer the consequences because of that, right?
Lord,
you can get the information that you need to help you. What's up, Tyrone? What's up, Kenosis community?
Every time.
What's up, everybody? You can just roll through it.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go and roll through it.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay. All right.
Amen.
But what I'm saying is, okay. What I'm saying is this right here. We hear a lot of people complain about, I have this thing going on in my marriage or in my friendships, in my relationships, and I don't know what to do. And then there comes a moment where we could possibly get in a room and get the information that we need. But you know what we do? We don't make time. We think we act as though we already got it figured out. Thus, we don't go do the needful. And after that, you know what happened? We go through our go-through, about ready to give up. Then you got to go do what you could have did on the front end instead of on the back end.
Yes.
You could have just set yourself up real good, got the wisdom that you needed to help you make it through a situation that you were getting ready to go through. But nonetheless, you said, Deanna, what's up, girl? Good to see you on tonight.
Yes. Hello.
Listen, she was our friendly guest on this weekend. We love our Deanna. Absolutely love you, girl. But you have that moment. I'm kicking back in. You have that moment where you can do something. This is what we need to start doing, people. We need to start doing something. We need to start helping ourselves when the help is readily available.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So this weekend, you could have got that help that you needed, but guess what? You wanted to go to the movies. You wanted to go hang out with your girlfriend and your boyfriend and all of them. You know what I'm saying? And then you missed a great opportunity to get some great information to help beef up your relationship and your marriage.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You follow where I'm going? So what I'm saying to the people on tonight, we got to start doing the needful.
We do. Because like you said, the help is available.
Come on.
But
come on.
If you don't come and get it, and there are times when we come to the people, right? When you have to go and get people and do that part of ministry.
Yeah.
But there are times when if you want it, you'll come and get it.
You know what I see a lot of, like, just when periodically I get on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
And periodically, when I get on YouTube, you see a lot of people doing these wheels and these podcasts about certain things, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, but you have help,
You do. Help is available now.
and you don't have to stay the way that you are.
You don't.
You can choose to go get help. Uh-huh. You can choose to go do the needful. So, people, what I'm encouraging you to do tonight, start doing the needful. You understand what I'm saying? Choose help. Choose life, not death. Choose life. You understand what I'm saying? I'm off my soapbox. Okay, so what are we talking about tonight?
So tonight we are just recapping the weekend. Again,
Okay.
recapping the power shop from Saturday, May Your Marriage Flourish, which was a power shop for married couples and singles.
And singles.
So it wasn't just a marriage event. And a lot of times people see, like you said, just a marriage event or a relationship event, and they don't show up or they don't want to do that. Now, let me tell you this. God's number was in the room.
Listen.
He really did show out, as far as putting who needed to be in the room in the room.
Yeah.
We just always push for more because we know the information that you're going to get when you come is invaluable. And so we always say too, even if you're in a strong marriage or have a strong relationship, we say, come share your strength, because there may be someone who is not as strong as you, and you may have something to offer. So we kicked it off with Meatloaf and Marriage with Team Dixon, and that was Pete and Peggy Dixon, or Walter and Peggy Dixon. We call him Papa Pete for short. And so
the P&P connection. Oh,
they nailed it. They've been married 50 years, coming up on 51 years. And they shared, just those pillars that are needed for a successful, essential for a successful relationship or successful marriage. They talked about communication and safeguarding, like guarding your union. And a lot of times people don't understand that. So when you are guarding your relationship, they mentioned, sometimes you have to guard against family members, protect against ministry, because anything that can suck the life out of your relationship will, if you allow it. And sometimes people are not even intentionally trying to drain your relationship. It's just people want what they want, and they're not always considering that may not be the best thing for you, or may not be the most convenient thing for you.
Or place for you to be doing anything. Maybe you need to be somewhere taking a nap. You know what I'm saying? Because you've been doing the work. You understand what I'm saying? So it is important to know how to protect, oversee, and guard your relationships. What else did we have going on?
So another thing they talked about in the Meatloaf and Marriage, sacrifice, right? And okay, so I want to say this. It was similar to, how, if you've ever heard the analogy of when you are in a relationship, it's like baking a cake, or you got to have all the ingredients, you got to leave it in the oven long enough. So it was a similar approach as that. However, it was just, I don't know, it was just fresh and different. And sacrifice was another thing they talked about, how, in relationships, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. And you may, if you don't like sacrifice, then you don't probably want to enter into a relationship.
Yeah, because you're going to have to get on a chopping block.
And you definitely don't want to get in a marriage.
If you're going to be in a marriage relationship, you're going to have to you're going to have to sacrifice some stuff. You're going to have to die to some stuff. You're going to have to get some stuff cut off for you. You're going to have that heart chiseled. That heart's going to you're going to have that heart circumcised, because there's some things that you are probably unaware of that is just not good in your person. And you need someone that is willing to say, hey, that part of your heart, you might want to look into. Because the way it's playing out in your person, in the way that you handling or treating situations, not good, player. Not good. You know, and sometimes it's just, you know, we say here, self-evaluation is what? The best evaluation. When you have the ability to go intrinsically into your person and look at what might not be good about you. And I think a lot of people need to start doing that a little bit more. We need to start looking into our person a little bit more. Because some of the stuff that I'm seeing out here in these streets from church people, it's just amazing to me. You know what I'm saying? You got dudes out here wearing high heel shoes and carrying. I'm just saying we need to start looking. I mean, pastors wearing high heel shoes. I'm just saying. I understand trying to be fashion forward, but sometimes we are just too forward. Too far. We are well past the line. Flag on the play. 45 yards. You are wrong. You understand what I'm saying? So when you are not around, when you're not safeguarding and you're not protecting and you're not watching over the things that you are doing, it's 9 times out of 10 because wisdom has probably come, tapped you on the shoulder, and you said, "No, I don't want to hear it." Mm-hmm. Then somebody else don't told you that you need. Then you start asking yourself, "Man, am I? No, I'm good. No, you're not good.
You're not good.
You're not good. And you need a tune-up. You need someone. You need to go on. You know that old song Mama and Daddy used to sing, "Take me back
to the place
where I first received." Take me back. Listen, you understand what I'm saying? So yeah, we had this conversation. We did Team Dixon P&P Connection. They talked about marriage and meatloaf and marriage, and it was brilliant. It was beautiful. I had an absolute blast sitting there and watching them do what they do. You understand what I'm saying?
That's it.
All right, what else we had?
So then next up we had Team Shelby. Pastors Stan and Cynthia Shelby.
Yeah.
And they shared for the singles. So they had the singles portion of it. And what they shared was what singles need to know and what marriages need to grow. Again, you already know the Marriage Village is all about equipping singles with what you need before you say I do.
It's all encompassing.
My goodness.
It's for the married folk and for the single folk. You understand what I'm saying? Hey, if you're out there, go on and put your name in the comments field so we can say what's up to you. Thank you so much for coming on. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what they talked about.
So in this section, they tackled basically what everybody needs to know in preparing for marriage. And then they also talked about, you need this more? Go ahead. They also talked about how to recover after a heartbreak. And so really just, one of the things they shared with singles was about getting whole, right? Dealing with the things that maybe you have not paid attention to as a single person before you get into a relationship. And so they kind of, it's funny because we dealt with addressing your elephants, addressing the elephants and dealing with your stuff. And so Team Shelby really did open that up for us and kind of paved the way for us to slide right in there. But, if you are dealing with heartbreak, their advice was get over that heartbreak or get through that, heal in that space before you jump into something else. And then know what it is that you want as a person. Know the things that you desire, know you before you try to link up with someone else. And I also love one thing they said was do your research while you're dating. Do your research on the person that you are entering into relationship with. Background checks, do they have a criminal past? You want to know these things because the last thing you want to do is show up in a marriage or in a relationship and find out who you thought you were getting is somebody completely different. And so they dealt with, like I said, their topic was what singles need to know and what marriages need to grow. And then they talked about, keeping people out of your business. Your relationship, your marriage is between you and the person you're in relationship with. So when you go through things, if you don't have wise counsel to talk to, then you just pray. and ask the Lord to send that to you, because the last thing you want to do is invite people in to your relationship that do not have the mind of Christ.
Before you go on, you said something. You said do a background check. Some of y'all need to do background checks on these people. You understand what I'm saying? They've been on full-fledged Busted magazine, and you don't know nothing.
That's no good.
No, do your research, people. Make sure that you know who you're dealing with, because and do your. They also talked about doing the family research. What does this family? What does this family believe? What is a family belief that they have going on? And then they also talked about within that whole little context, they talked about leaving and cleaving. And so I think a lot of times when you start developing relationship and then you start walking in relationship to one another, there are some things that you might have learned in your youth, or even as an adult, from some of the counseling that you might have got. You might have been taught some bad stuff. So just identifying those things that might be rattling in your person, that could be problematic, or rattling around in the other person's person, that can be problematic to you having a successful marriage and relationship.
Absolutely. So again, just recapping them, hey, do your research, single people, do your research. Then the principle again of leaving and cleaving, and then keep people out your business. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, keeping your people out your business. This is why you want to keep them out your business, because y'all might have forgiven one another, made up, and sometimes your family, they just have a hard time of letting go. You understand what I'm saying?
Got that right.
Sometimes they want to keep on being mad, and you and your significant other don't made up, and y'all in a good space, and then all of a sudden you have a conversation with the person that you gave some information maybe you shouldn't have given, huh? And then they still big mad. You mad.
You over it.
You big mad. What's up, Kenosis community? What's going on, Alandria? Good to see you on tonight.
Yes, Alandria, I think did you have somebody graduate? Congratulations. I thought I saw something come across the post, but if I'm wrong, just disregard.
Yeah, so we want to we certainly want to make sure that we're just paying attention to certain things, paying attention to the signs.
Absolutely. And so like I said, the Shelbys really kind of opened it up for us with addressing the elephants. Deal with your stuff and address the elephants. And that is also if you're single, addressing any trauma that has happened. And we say childhood, a lot of times we say childhood trauma, and then we've expanded that. We've since expanded it, because it's not just childhood trauma. Trauma can happen at any time in your life. And if it's unhealed, it's going to show up in whatever relationship you feel the most comfortable in.
Yeah. Yeah. Because a lot of times the reason why people have trauma is because they haven't taken the time to deal with the traumatic experience. Mm-hmm. And if you're not taking the time, whether that's getting counseling, whether that is getting therapy, whether that is just trying to grow in those areas. Hey, Mama, good to see you on the night.
Hello.
Yeah, so when you're trying to, if you don't deal with those things that have caused you problem in your youth, guess where you're gonna deal with it at? Right on up in the relationships that you're in. And why is that? Because when you're not healed, you are going to spread germs. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then people gonna be like, girl, you got snot dripping from your nose. You're coughing all over everything. Cover your mouth. You know what I'm saying? These are things that, because when you're not dealing with these things, you are literally, what's up, Shanika? Good to see you on night.
Brown
family. Yes, ma'am. But when you're not dealing with these stuff, when you get in relationship and you get in a relationship that is built to have you dealing with your stuff, guess what? Yeah, you gonna have some. you gonna have some times, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And so the other thing, as far as we also talked about addressing the elephants, those things in your life or in your person that might be tearing up your relationship or tearing up your life. It could be, you're still wounded by a previous conversation that you may have had with the person you're in relationship with, and you're not addressing it and you're stuffing it, but it's still spilling out of every part of your person. Or it's coming out in your language. Go ahead.
Or just about things that you haven't addressed about certain perspectives in life. There can be some perspectives in life that you just it's ever present in your person, but you ain't addressing it. It's sit right on in the living room, all big and pink. All big and brown, you know what I'm saying?
And we talked about, just how, the one thing the Lord showed me, he was like, okay, you got this elephant, right? This trunk swinging into everything, slapping everything. It's heavy. It doesn't know how to walk. First of all, an elephant trapped in a room, that's a problem in and of itself because it's too big to be there. And then the other thing is, it's so big, everybody notices it, but nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Somebody in that relationship needs to raise your hand and say, we need to talk about this. We need to deal with this.
Well, I think, and the things that we addressed were, just, okay, marriage is a holy institution. Mm-hmm. So why is it such a shock when you tell a person, hey, those worldly attributes that you're carrying out in this holy institution is not going to work.
Not going to work.
That's a big glaring issue. And you need to know corrective measure is important. There are some corrective measures. There's some ideologies or some thoughts and concepts that you need to get out your person, or you need to get the appropriate information so that you can appropriately adjust your behavior, because sometimes people act in bad behavior because they don't have the appropriate information.
They don't have the appropriate information, and they don't have the appropriate accountability, in their life to help them steward that information. Because it's one thing to have information, but you got to do something with that. And then if you, even if you are somebody that will do something with information, you still need accountability. We still need accountability all the way around.
And I think even in this capacity, research is really important. What do you know about marriage? What do you know about intimate relationships? Have you done your research? Have you addressed the glaring issues that you see operating in your person and in relationship with other people? Are you addressing those things? Are you doing the research to get help, to get the information that can bring some intelligence to your emotions? Because when you don't have intelligence operating, you will act unseemly. You just will.
And so we also talked about trigger. Deanna, I see you. We're gonna go back up. She mentioned one other thing that the Shelby's talked about. Mm-hmm. But we talked about triggers, right? And so what I learned a new phrase for triggers at work last week: emotional hijackers. It's an emotional hijacking when something happens and it literally, what it means when somebody is hijacking an airplane is what we used to hear. They're taking over by force and causing everybody on that plane or in that situation to submit to what they want. That is what happens when you're triggered. Your emotions are hijacked. They take over the situation and they want to force you and everyone else into what they want in that moment. And we cannot go through our lives with these triggers undealt with. And sometimes you don't know it's a trigger. Well, not all the time. You don't know. Not sometimes. You don't know it's a trigger until it's hit.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And I'll say, and once it's hit, you got to be honest that thing hit, and you can't be operating in pride and I don't care, that don't bother me. Yes, it does, and it did.
Hold on. And it should bother you. Anything that is a trigger that's been smacked and it made you act unseemly, that should bother you. I don't like when things trigger me, and I know I was triggered. Then I'm walking around here acting as though I didn't see what I saw. No, you saw what was there. So now let's deal with what you saw. It's like, okay, if I saw a pink elephant walking down the highway, I'm not going to just unsee a big old pink elephant walking down the highway.
No.
I may need to call somebody to get help with the elephant so it don't get splattered all across the highway. You understand what I'm saying? So stop driving by stuff that you saw. And I deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the things that plague us because we're not dealing with them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So I would just really quick, y'all, tonight is the condensed version. If you're just joining, we were only planning to be on here about 30 minutes. We're going to go just a little bit beyond that because we do have a little game that we want to play with you all. And it is a true or false battle of the sexes. And it's just questions. And the answer, is it men or women? So tonight it's not him or I. It is just men or women in general. But Deanna mentioned how Team Shelby also talked about finances, right? And what they talked about was, again, yielding to the wisdom of the person that is maybe the better handler of finances, yielding to that wisdom. And you all know we have a train wreck story that is my testimony of not listening. And what happened? Literally, I almost got into a literal wreck and almost lost my life on 270 in Columbus. But when it comes to finances, if you're not great in that space, it's okay to say I'm not great in that space, because when you're in a relationship with a partner that is great, surrendering that part to them is only going to make your life better.
Great people. All right, let me just go on and say this. Great people are great at knowing what they're not good at. And they get good at dealing with what they're not good at, so it doesn't become a detriment. If you don't deal with what you're not good at some point in time, it's going to become a detriment. It's going to become something that hinders you in a major way. So being able to identify those things that you're not great at and accepting that truth. We talked about that Saturday. Proverbs 23 and 23, I believe it is. Learn the truth and reject it not. When truth comes, receive it. Don't reject it. Don't be trying to get out of what you saw and what you know. Go on and receive the truth, so the truth can free you from the bondage of whatever it is you may not be being good at. You understand what I'm saying?
Amen.
Make it happen. Let's go.
All right. So that was, like I said, that was our recap. It was great. After our session, Holy Spirit shifted the entire time, this entire situation, as I say. And we had the opportunity, the privilege to pray with every married couple and every single person that came up and that desired to have prayer. And I think it was almost 100% on the prayer targets, almost 100% prayer participation. And people were released from bondages. Marriages were restored. People that walked in saying, my marriage, we were almost at the end. We almost ended it. But today helped us want to kind of give it another shot or hang in there a little bit longer. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And
our opinion, and we are on one accord with Team Dixon and Team Shelby, and even Team Dixon, the R&R Connection, Rachel and Risa. If one couple was helped, if one single person was helped, that's really all we care about. It doesn't matter. But the fact that multiple people shared that they were blessed, that they felt encouraged, that they got something useful that they could take away from the time being together and use in their day-to-day. That's what it's all about. So
no doubt.
We are just thankful for the partnership with Team Dixon, Team Shelby. And it was just a great time. And we had our, some of the villagers in the house. Hit the Road Church in the Village was in the house. We had Deanna, we had Bonsi, we had Kaylee, we had Janae, we had who else?
Jordan.
Jordan, yes, Kaylee and Jordan. And we just had the people were in the room. People came on out. And so it was just a good time together. The food was on point.
Yep.
Shout out to the caterer. I can't remember her name, but I'm gonna tell you right now, we need to put her name in the chat somewhere because she was fire in Lexington. And shout out to Destiny Community Church for allowing us to have the event in their ministry at their venue. She, I think it's Pastor E might be her name, but all I know is she opened the doors and basically said, make yourself at home. And so we definitely appreciate those kinds of connections. Vivian Hodge is the caterer. Let me tell you, you want to take down that name. If you are in Lexington, Louisville, if you're anywhere in Kentucky and can get her to you, you want to do that. So
no doubt. Yeah,
so without further ado, we're going to jump into our game tonight, and I will give you time to answer in the chat. But this is just a game of true or false, and we're going to test some stereotypes and things like that. But we'll probably do about 10.
Deanna says the whole weekend was beautiful. It was, Deanna.
Thank you.
I agree. It was, because they, the church in the village celebrated my birthday with me on yesterday, and our dear friends, the Dixons, and all of our local church in the village, and even some of our regional members of Church in the Village showed up. Showed up and showed out, and it was just such an amazing time in the Lord. So yeah, I agree with you, Deanna. If you can tell, my voice is so I'm tired,
and so that's why we're gonna hit these questions. I'm gonna wrap him up because he will want to continue to talk even when he's tired, y'all. He wants to keep going, and I, on the other hand, I do need to learn how to rest, but I'll fall asleep right here looking at y'all. So we don't want that to happen. So here we go with our battle of the sexes. True or false? So the first question, true or false? Women are better at reading maps than men. True or false?
Absolutely false.
I want my husband not to answer any of these questions because it is a time to engage with the people. So, all right, come on, type it in there.
Oh boy.
True or false? Women are better at reading maps than men.
That's a funny question. Boy.
All right, I see one answer. I'm trying to let y'all have some time to get your answers typed in. And you can just put T or F for the sake of time. The answer is false. Men are actually better at reading maps and have a better sense of direction. Neuroscientists at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology found that in men, the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that helps with our sense of direction, was used more in men than in women.
I know that to be the truth.
All right. So what?
I ain't talking about you. I'm just saying, just in general, women are not good with direction.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, hey, I'm just calling a spade a spade, Doc. I'm just calling a spade a spade.
All right. Let's see. All right, here's the next one. True or false? Men remember more things than women. True or false? Come on, villagers. What do you say? T or F? Men remember more things than women.
Shanika, you are a purple unicorn. You are the minority and not the majority.
All right. So men remember more things than women. True or false? The answer is false. Men are more forgetful. And this is in general and according to studies. So a study in the journal Biomed Central Psychology, found that men reportedly have more memory problems than women. And younger men forget just as much as older men. Risk factors for cardiovascular disease, such as high blood pressure or high body mass index, which are more prevalent in men, can trigger, Lord, I can't read, I'm tired, can trigger forms of neurodegeneration, explaining the memory loss. So statistically speaking and research, according to research, Men do not remember more things than women. Women are the rememberers. All right.
You meddling, you meddling, Alandria. You meddling. You meddling.
All right, next up, I'm not going to type all these in. We'll just go through them. So the next one, true or false? Men lie more often than women. True or false? T or F? Men lie more often than women.
That's funny.
What do you think?
Why can't I answer?
True or false? What do you think?
I'm gonna say it's probably going to be true.
It is true. Yeah. According to a survey commissioned by the Science Museum of London, on average, men tell 3 lies every day, or roughly 1,092 lies every year. By comparison, women said they only told 2 fibs a day on average, which works out to 728 lies a year. Research also shows that women lie more to try to spare someone's feelings. All right. Alandria said, and men don't realize they lying.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Listen, I think society need to give men more clout for being smarter. We're smarter than what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I think men are intelligent. I don't think intelligence. I hope there's not a question out here that says true or false, men are smarter than women or women are smart. Because to me, intelligence is not gender based. I don't think intelligence is gender based. So if that question is on here, I'm skipping it because I don't like that. All right. Next one, true or false? Men are more cautious when driving than women. True or false? Men are more cautious,
no doubt, when
driving than women. What do you say, villagers? Are men more cautious drivers than women?
The way these little young girls be around here driving all crazy and out unseemly, no doubt. No doubt.
The answer to that, what? I don't agree with this, but it says false. It says a study by the International Organization of Standardization revealed men are 3 times more likely to violate traffic laws, such as reckless driving, driving under the influence, seatbelt violations. However, when it comes to speeding and sign violations, men rank only slightly higher than women. So basically, it's a little bit of a tie when it comes to speeding and sign violations. But when it comes to reckless driving, driving under influence, and seatbelt violations,
I can see that.
Men are not.
If we're talking solely speed, watch
it.
I'm just saying.
She said, Alandria said, you said better driver, not safer driver.
Listen.
All right, moving on. Women have a more sophisticated palate than men. True or false when it comes to foods and eating and tasting? Women have a more sophisticated palate.
I would say probably, yeah.
Pause. Shanika said, my dad used to scare me speeding and weaving. Listen.
That's funny.
Papa Martin.
Oh my God. I won't ride with my dad. He
picked us up from the airport once, y'all. We lived in Florida. He picked us up in Columbus from the airport. And I literally almost brought up all of my lunch, dinner, whatever meal I just had, almost came right back up.
Dad had to remove from the list of people who call to pick us up. Never again. No, sir.
All right. So when it comes to a sophisticated palate, it is true. Women have a more sophisticated palate than men. A professor at Cardiff University states that women have more taste buds than men because of evolution. So the way that we have grown and developed over the years, women have more taste buds. And so women are responsible for the health of their babies. So it was also evolutionary important for women to immediately recognize tastes of toxins that might harm a child. Hear me, when we're talking about evolution, we're not talking about evolving from monkeys. Let's be clear. We're talking about the growth of the human species, growing from...
I came back. I died.
Yeah, because I didn't come from an ape. I just want you to know. I don't know.
Chocolate chip.
Not even Don't even do it. This is not a game.
Boy.
All right. So we have certainly evolved from Eve. I would pray that most of us have evolved from Eve being tempted by the serpent in the garden, right? Right. And so true. Women have a more sophisticated palate. Next question. Men handle conflict at work better than women. True or false?
No doubt.
True or false? Men handle conflict at work better than women.
No doubt. I would say that's probably going to be true. Because the ones I've seen in the office have not gone well. I'm like, geez, okay.
All right. So this is saying, this says false, and I'm going to read why. I agree with my husband, honestly. I think men deal better with conflict because men are not known to be generally catty, right? Correct. I feel like they just be like, okay, I'm not going to deal with you, or I'm not going to deal with this, right? I'm going to cut you off or cut this job off. But this is saying false. This is saying women handle conflict better. And this is how. This is the context. Studies show that women and men experience and respond to conflicts at work in very different ways. Women tend to feel conflict more deeply, reporting higher levels of work stress, tension, and frustration than men. And so they respond by working harder. Men, on the other hand, are more inclined to call in sick or completely check out. So I agree that I think this even said, I mean, it's saying false, but it's not false. Even their explanation is saying true. Men deal with it better.
Whoever wrote this was drunk when they did this.
Listen, I don't know who the writer is on that one. All right, let's see. We'll do two more. Three more. Okay, here we go. Men are better tippers than women. True or false? True or false? At a restaurant, men are better tippers than women.
No way.
What say the village?
Dudes are tightwads. No.
Hey, Risa.
Hey, Risa.
Love you, sis.
No, I don't believe so.
Men are better tippers than women. True or false? The answer, according to this study, is true.
No.
According to a study conducted by researchers at the Women's Philanthropy Institute at the Indiana University, men are better tippers, but studies show women give more to charity.
I agree, Alandria.
Alandria said,
I agree.
Men are better tippers. She said, true if they give the wife the pen. You right? Because I feel like women, we're more, they did a great job. And men are like, 15%, 18%, that's the tip. That's what we doing, right? But we women tend to be like, no, they deserve a little more, right? So yeah,
guys are typically not emotional spenders, like in the sense of like what you just said. Oh, she was just nice. I'm gonna give her $5 more. Guys is like, okay, here's 15%. Thank you.
Here we go. Next question. Men are more jealous than women. True or false?
I think it depends.
Men are more jealous than women. True or false? What say the village?
It depends on the situation. I'm going to say false. And I'm going to say that only because women tend to be a little bit more connected to the emotion and empathetic side more times than not. And the emotion and empathy will cause you to go to the deep end if you don't know how to control it.
Well, Andrea, you said they don't call it jealousy. Share more. So men are more jealous than women, according to this study. False. A team from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden found that women are more jealous both emotionally and sexually.
I told you.
And so here's the thing. Women, sometimes women may be jealous. We may not show it, right? It may not be just outward expressions. It may be internalized.
But it's brewing on the inside.
And my thing is, if it's brewing on the inside, whatever's brewing on the inside eventually is coming out. Risa said no, because it's harder for us to find good men.
Risa.
Listen. So as we learned on Saturday, somebody was there that was single. They said, where are the men? Where are the single men? Where are the good single men?
We don't want to open that because I got a whole theory.
Oh Lord. Next week, where are the men? Where are the good men?
I'm gonna tell you where they at.
So next week, tune in, because that's the topic for next week. Where are the good men? Okay. So Alandria says women will say they are being protective or just having an opinion, but it's really jealousy.
No
doubt.
Or
are you saying men will? Either way, whoever it is, sometimes jealousy is masked as being protective. All right.
But God is a jealous God. I'm playing.
Okay, 2 more and we're done. Yeah, where are the God men? Come on, saints. Alandria, okay, she says men will say they are being protective and just having an opinion. And sometimes it is not that, it is jealousy. Shanika says she thinks men hide it more. I can see that too. Because, and I could see, maybe a macho man, like, I don't care. I ain't jealous, I ain't jealous. I don't care. I ain't about to let anybody see whatever. But,
if a man truly loves you, he will probably be a little bit more jealous. But if a man don't care, because like if I don't care, you can do whatever you want to do. It's like, okay, you're gonna have to live them consequences though. That more guys are more on that side of the pendulum. What's the last one?
All right. Oh man, it's 2. It's only 2 on here left. Can we do 2 and then get out? I know. All right, here we go. Women fall in love faster and quicker than men. True or false?
I would say I don't know. That because I would say if a man finds someone that he trusts, I think he'll be more apt to fall in love than a woman will. But I think in general, I think women, because you guys are more in touch with the emotional side of the brain, the empathetic side of the brain, I think you guys are more apt to fall in love quicker than men are.
So according to this study, women are much more cautious so it's a study from Pennsylvania State University. Women are much more cautious when it comes to love, while men have a tendency to fall in love hard and fast. So according to this study, men tend to fall in love faster. And not, like falling in love, falling hard and fast. All right, here is the last one. I'll do this one and we'll be done. We'll be out of here because I know my husband is ready as well. Ooh. Men's brains are smaller than women's. True or false? Men's brains are smaller than women's. True or false?
I would say naturally men are bigger than women, just in the natural sense. So they have bigger craniums, bigger bodies, big
old head.
Yeah, so I would say men's brains are bigger than women. But I also don't equate bigger brain with more intelligence.
Smart, yes. And that's why I said it's not intelligence. I will not say intelligence. I don't agree with that. Risa said not faster but harder when they do. Gotcha. Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah,
as far as falling in love. So men's brains are smaller than women's. True or false? The answer is false. Women's brains are roughly 8% smaller than men's. Good job. However, neuroscientists from the University of California found that while the female brains are typically smaller than those of males, they were of equal intelligence. So I like to hear that. I like that. Just because your brain is small.
Lisa, you funny. You funny.
Oh, just because the brain is smaller doesn't mean the intelligence is less. And Alandria says the brain is physically the same. It's the computer.
I need you to respond back to the email. Okay, we need to sit down. Okay, you just need to go on and sit down.
All right, and there was one more, and I'm just gonna do it because my husband will get a kick out of this. True or false? Women use their smartphones more often than men.
No doubt.
Women, true or false? Women use their smartphones more often than men.
No doubt. Like, because that's how y'all are wired a certain way. Like, dudes, I wish I didn't have to have a cell phone. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Because first of all, I don't like to be connected. I don't like people be able to get to me that easy. I want you to work for getting in contact with me. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, according to a new study from Jeju University School of Medicine in South Korea, they found that women spend more time on their phones and are more likely to get addicted to the gadget than men.
No, I mean, for real.
Findings show that 52% of female respondents use their smartphones for at least 4 hours a day, while only 29.4% of the men do the same.
Who's going to stay up, fight sleep, call it mindless behavior?
Me.
And still be on that phone? Women. That's how y'all.
Don't say women. Say your wife.
No.
Because all women don't do that.
Because I've seen a lot of them do it when we hang out with couples. Listen, you already know. Absolutely. Absolutely, Risa. You trying to come for me, player?
She said yes because we're doing 3 things. Yes, and see, that's the only thing I can do multitask well with.
Lendra, I'm gonna get you, girl. Oh man, I'm gonna get you.
Shanika said, but I'm like you, bro. I'm a unicorn. I forgot where my phone is in the house. LOL. Oh Lord. So my thing is, I don't forget where my phone is. Sometimes I do just have to ignore my phone, because if I don't,
your sister will, like, literally, she will be in the, and it's like almost like autopilot. I think sometimes
it's Candy Crush.
I think sometimes she be asleep and she don't be knowing she's sleeping. She just doing it. Boom.
Listen, it's Candy Crush. It's Save the King. I don't know what that game is, but yeah, it's just so. And then somebody done put me, Lord, my sis Tara Dunn done put me onto a Tetris type game. Is blocks, and all you do is put the blocks and they fit in perfectly. Now I will say this, and my sis Tia and my little brother Los, they play Tetris. Y'all, they got me locked and loaded. And so I will say this, some of the brain games are good and help kind of prevent dementia and those kinds of things. There are some that are good. I don't know that the ones I'm playing are those actual ones, but maybe I need to find some brain games that will that will help my brain versus just the mindless behavior, as I tend to call it. But that's all we got for y'all tonight, good people. We just wanted to come on and recap, and we said we were going to do 30 minutes, and that never happens.
I was just like, why are we even saying that?
Never happens. Oh no, I don't play in the middle of the night. Now I'm not going. Let's be clear. I'm not going to wake up out of my sleep to play a game, but I will play it to sleep. I will play myself to sleep.
But she will wake up in the middle of the night and get on Netflix.
No, I don't wake up in the middle of the night to get on Netflix. I will go to bed with Netflix on. I will wake up in the middle of the night to turn it off because it's still going.
Okay.
But no, I'm not going. Okay. You know your wife. I'm not getting up from sleep to do my. Once I'm down, listen.
We love you, Nika. We love y'all.
Love y'all so much.
Elliot's.
Yes. So thanks for joining, for hanging out. Dixon's, Landria. Everybody that chimed in. Darlene, Deanna.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for hanging out with us a little bit tonight. It is 9:59, and we didn't do 30 minutes, but we're going to certainly end it right now.
Listen.
So we love y'all. Next week's topic, hot topic. Where are the good men? Where are the God men? So, yep, we're going to go ahead and tackle that. So get your single friends, in the room next week, and you married folks, get ready to contribute.
Mama, we forgot to say.
I said
Mama.
Team Dixon.
Oh, okay.
I did, cool. But Mama Peggy is specifically Mama Peggy, and Papa Pete is probably not far away. So we love y'all. Thank y'all. See you next week. Where are the good men? Where are the God men? Be blessed.
Be blessed. Peace.